A very good afternoon and welcome to the Business News Summary on Independent Television Abuja. I am Nkiru Obuli. The federal government has inaugurated a project steering committee to drive the implementation of Nigeria's accreditation and conformity assessment platform. For this and more on Business News, let's join Osawaname Bizugwe.
The federal government has inaugurated a project steering committee to drive the implementation of Nigeria's accreditation and conformity assessment platform. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Budget and National Planning, Mr. Olajide Odewale, inaugurated the committee in Abuja. Odewale charged the members of the NACAP steering committee to ensure national compliance with all provisions of the accreditation and conformity assessment policy. He also urged the committee to live up to its responsibility of promoting the use of accreditation as a decision-making mechanism in government ministries, departments, and agencies. This, he noted, would help to ensure that all accreditation and conformity assessment agencies, such as the Standards Organization of Nigeria and the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, among others, conform to international best practices in their operations. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachiku, has said the federal government will establish oil and gas parks in other parts of the country where crude oil has either been found or is being explored. Kachiku, according to a statement by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board on Sunday, stated this at the groundbreaking of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Park being developed by the NCDMB at Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State. Kachiku said the ministry will work with the board and provide everything that is needed for the project, adding that the innovative idea will be extended to other parts of Nigeria where oil has either been found or is being explored. According to the statement, the park will generate about 2,000 jobs when it begins full operation and create a regional low-cost manufacturing hub that will produce equipment, components, and spare parts to be utilized in the nation's oil and gas industry. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria has called on the federal and Rivers state governments to urgently put an end to illegal refineries which are causing soot in Port Harcourt, the Rivers state capital. The senior staff trade union said the soot, in the form of thick black smoke covering the city, could be the root cause of some of the respiratory problems being experienced by residents of Port Harcourt. He noted that the health implications of the soot in Port Harcourt could be worse than Ebola if evaluated on the long-term effect. In a statement signed by its National Public Relations Officer, Mr. Fortune Obi, Pengensin stated that the development was not getting any serious attention because most of the people affected seemed unperturbed, noting that the soot has been confirmed by experts to be carcinogenic. He added that Pengensin, in collaboration with other concerned bodies and citizens, had continued to call the attention of the government to the development as well as creating awareness with the residents. Obi emphasized the need for collaboration among all stakeholders to end the environmental hazard. That's all on Business News. I am Osawaname Ibizugbe.
President Muhammadu Buhari has reiterated his call on youths in Nigeria to seize opportunities in agriculture, a sector of the economy he said is already proving to be the bedrock of the nation's new economy. The president was speaking at Blair's House, Washington, D.C. after his White House engagement with President Donald Trump. The president was at a meeting with chief executive officers of 6 American agricultural companies and their Nigerian counterpart, including Aliko Dangote and John Comanteros. Buhari again lamented the challenges of the country's youth bulge, with 60% of the population below 30 years. He said the country must help the young people to plan their future and urge them to explore opportunities easily accessible in agriculture, saying agriculture is the future, while stressing that planning in Nigeria must take into consideration the factors of climate and a bulging youth population. President Buhari also promised the support of his administration in the promotion of skill development, innovation, and entrepreneurship among the young population. President Buhari welcomed the several investment proposals being put in place by the Americans and their Nigerian counterparts. Among those brought up for discussion were the 3 million tons fertilizer by Dangote, the largest in Africa, coming on stream in July, to be followed by another one to produce 1.4 million tons of the commodity. A tractor manufacturing company, John Deere, also unfolded a plan for an assembly plant to produce 10,000 tractors in 4 years in Nigeria. In a second business meeting same day, President Buhari brought together Nigerian businessmen and their American counterparts from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Corporate Council on Africa. The U.S. Chamber, on behalf of its 3 million member companies, which included General Electric, Chevron, Procter & Gamble and Boeing aircraft manufacturers, expressed happiness with improved security in the Niger Delta, reforms in the economy leading to ease in doing business, and the war the administration is waging against corruption. Several of the oncoming plans were disclosed to the president, who demanded concrete plans and an aggressive timetable for their actualization. He emphasized that the investment schemes will lead to a lot of new opportunities for the Nigerian youth. The Eagle Square in the nation's capital, Abuja, witnessed huge business activities as Nigerian workers marked May Day. Apart from the traditional speech-making and march past, the arena played host to businessmen and women as traders of various commodities came not only from the FCT, but from neighboring states like Nasarawa, Niger, Kaduna State to sell their products. ITV's Evie Aguare reported that they took advantage of the population at the venue to make profit.
The atmosphere at the Eagle Square is that of excitement and joy as workers in the Federal Capital Territory gathered to commemorate their day. Seeing that a huge number of people from all walks of life gathered in the same arena to celebrate what they share in common, businessmen and women in their wisdom take advantage of this opportunity. They brought their goods and displayed them not far from the Eagle Square, hoping to enjoy high patronage. Pure water and soft drink sellers were also on ground, understanding that with the hot weather and labor activities, the workers would buy much due to dehydration. Speaking to ITV crew, they expressed divergent views on their sales on the level of patronage enjoyed. For these traders, they are making good sales.
I thank God for the business. I make enough money today for the workers day today. So that's why you see me, I'm very glad and very happy because that patronized me enough. This year is an excellent year for me because this is my first time to be here. But what I see here today is very good, very sweet.
It is ever a different tale for others who believe that sales was below expectations.
We are telling the government that if they continue like this, Nigeria will be good. When they are paying the workers with patronize will sell. But I saw that everybody is smiling. That's why I'm smiling enough.
Honestly, it's not been like it used to be in the past, but we still thank God. Not like it used to be in the past.
Most of the people, they are complaining, they are not collecting their salary, but they are buying small. We thank God.
I've not made it to do what I'm expecting. No, see, I still have food here, inside here, by the grace of God. By the grace of God, I will not take anything home.
The traders are likely to gather again at the same venue on May 27th during the Children's Day's celebration.
It is amazing to know that the Workers' Day celebration has provided ample opportunity for businessmen and women to sell their goods and services, ranging from shoes to clothes to jewelries and even home appliances.
In a bid to forestall terrorism funding, the federal government has taken to monitoring cash inflows into the country, just as the naira depreciated to 360.51 naira per dollar in the importers and exporters window. For this and more on Business News, let's join Catherine Eyamese.
The federal government is monitoring inflows of funds into the country to forestall terrorism funding. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, disclosed this at an international conference against the financing of terrorism in Paris, France. Adeosun, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari at the conference, said that the country was reinvigorating efforts to tackle the financing of terrorism in the country. The minister said the Nigerian government is very committed to the fight against terrorism and cutting off funding for terrorist activities. The Naira commenced the week with 10 kobo depreciation to 360.51 Naira per dollar in the investors and exporters window of the foreign exchange market. Data from the Financial Market Dealers Quote shows that the indicative exchange rate for the INE window rose to 360.51 Naira per dollar Monday from 360.41 Naira per dollar on Friday last week, translating to a 10 kobo loss in Naira. This depreciation was in spite of the 112% increase in the volume of dollars traded in the INE window. The window Monday recorded turnover of $362.52 million, up from $170.61 million recorded Friday last week. The new anti-money laundering, counter-financing terrorism sanction regime announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has triggered a series of top management brainstorming sessions among banks over implications and implementation. The new regime, among other things, seeks to punish top officials of banks, namely directors, chief compliance officers, and internal auditors for money laundering, financing terrorism infractions committed by their banks. According to the CBN, banks and their board members or chief compliance officer will all be sanctioned for 31 out of the 48 money laundering infractions listed in the new regime.
The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, has asked the federal government to mandate the international oil companies operational in Nigeria to build refineries. For this and more on Business News, let's join Catherine Eyamese.
The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Tuesday asked the federal government to make it mandatory for international oil companies operating in the country to build refineries. In his May Day 2018 message, PENGASSN's president, Olabode Johnson, said there should be a legal framework that would compel the IOCs to refine a certain percentage of the crude oil they produced locally. PENGASSN commended the 8th National Assembly for passing the first part of the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill. It said the feat could not be achieved by 4 generations of the National Assembly in 13 years and advised the current lawmakers to expedite action on the Petroleum Industry Administration Bill, the Petroleum Industry Fiscal Bill, and the Petroleum Host Community Bill to ensure the delivery of the full benefits of the intended oil and gas reforms. The association kicked against contract and casual employment as well as offshoring of jobs and noted that these were tactically and steadily taking over permanent employment and increasing unemployment in Nigeria. It urged the government to step up security of lives as well as oil and gas infrastructure, curb pipeline vandalism and the attendant crude oil and petroleum product thefts, ensure optimal functioning of the refineries to increase local refining capacity and provide a conducive environment for private investors in the downstream sector. Nigeria's unemployment and underemployment rate increased in 2017. The World Bank says Nigeria's unemployment and underemployment rate increased in 2017. A statement issued by the World Bank in Abuja showed that this was indicated in its report, Nigeria Biannual Economic Update. According to the report, Nigeria emerged from recession in 2017, but poverty in the country increased slightly. The report stated that Nigeria's gross domestic product growth reached 0.8%, driven by an expansion in oil output and continued steady growth in agriculture. The World Bank said the decline in the non-oil, non-agriculture sector, however, continued as aggregate demand remained weak and private sector credit low. It added that the lack of connectivity dampens economic collaboration and cooperation among countries' region, limiting market integration and reducing producers and firms' ability to reach wider markets. Nigerian workers on Tuesday kicked against the introduction of a 5% levy on the premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, as proposed in the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill that was passed recently by the National Assembly. Speaking under the aegis of the Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress as they commemorate the 2018 May Day, the workers also stated that the privatization of the power sector had failed. The president, TUC, Boboy Kaigama, stated that the union was totally against the 5% levy on the PMS. In April, the Senate passed the harmonized version of the PIGB, which seeks to unbundle the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and merge its subsidiaries, such as the Department of Petroleum Resources and the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency, into one entity. On the privatization of the power sector, the TUC stated that the country's future still looks bleak and gloomy.
We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll bring you the concluding part of the business news summary. Please stay with us.
Hello people, are you ready? It's another time to celebrate the Nigerian child. Independent Television has put together interesting packages for all science students, commercial students, art students, so you could have a fantabulous Children's Day. Really? Yes, with games, shaku shaku dance competition, fashion parade, face painting, free gigantic bouncing castle, back-to-back music from the wheels of DJ Easy, and lots of other activities to take you to Wakanda. You can't afford to miss this year's Fiesta. Date 27th May 2018. Time 2 p.m. till you get tired. Venue Eric's Villaggio Event Center, Biajin by Waterboard, Kubwa, Abuja. Gate fee 500 naira only. For inquiries, call 070-6715-7865 or 081-6937-3446. It's Children's Fiesta. Hello children, hello uncle.
Independent Television is live 24 hours on GoTV, channel 107, Star Times, channel 130. And now you can watch from any part of the world on Roku TV, Smart TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV for your favorite programs, news, current affairs, and lots more. You don't want to miss our objective and balanced reportage, entertainment, and sports. Now follow us via our social media channels on Twitter at ITV Radio NG. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ITV Radio NG. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/ITV Radio NG. Visit our website for more news stories and lots more, itvradioNigeria.com. Watch ITV via live streaming on the internet, itvradioNigeria.com/live, and click on the TV stream option. Also remember to visit your mobile app store and download the ITV app so you can watch on the go. Independent Television, certainly the best.
Thanks for staying with us, and if you're just joining us, this is the business news summary on Independent Television Abuja. Now on to other reports. Telecom operators have called on the National Communications Commission to look into the indebtedness of smaller telecom operators and support them to survive competition. Let's join Blessing Umaru for the details of these and other stories on Business News.
Telecommunications operators Wednesday called on Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) to look into the indebtedness of smaller telecom operators and support them to survive competition. Mr. Benga Adebayo, Chairman, Association of Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, made the call at a telecom stakeholders forum in Lagos. The forum, organized by NCC, was to discuss the level of competition in Nigeria's telecommunications industry. Adebayo said reports and studies had shown that big telecom operators survive more than small ones, urging that NCC should identify small operators in debt and help them. The NCC Executive Vice Chairman, Professor Umar Dambata, said competitive markets was necessary for a vibrant telecommunications industry, as it would encourage innovations and foster efficiency. Among the features raised at the May Day celebrations was the increasing casualization and outsourcing of workers in Nigeria, which President of Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC Comrade Ayuba Waba, warned that organized labor would no longer tolerate. Addressing workers and other guests at the Eagle Square venue, Abuja, Waba lamented that, according to a report published by the Campaign for Democratic Workers' Rights, 45% of the workforce in Nigeria operates as casual workers. 50% of the burden of casualization exists in the downstream oil and gas and banking subsectors of the economy and some other workplaces. He said casual workers in the workforce operate under very precarious conditions with near total denial of the benefits associated with permanent and decent work. The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria said it assisted about 14,000 micro, small and medium enterprises operators in Nigeria to formalize their businesses through registration with Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) and opening of bank accounts. Director General of Smethan, Dr. Diko Umar Radha, who disclosed this at a forum in Abuja, assured that the agency would intensify efforts to build the capacities of small and medium-scale enterprises operators for optimal performances. He noted the lack of requisite skills, lack of access to finance and business network are some of the challenges facing MSME operators in the country, and called for partnerships with other institutions to provide entrepreneurial skills and training for the operators. Rather also disclosed that Smethan and National Bureau of Statistics have begun a nationwide survey to determine the number of MSMEs in the country.
And for Business News Friday, our correspondent is standing by.
The Acting Director General of the National Pensions Commission, Mrs. Aisha Dahil Umar, has revealed that the net asset value of the Nigerian pensions industry under the Contributory Pensions Fund has risen to about 7.779 trillion naira as at February 28, 2018. The figure, she said, represents an increase of 270 billion naira from the December 31, 2017 figure of 7.52 trillion naira. Speaking with journalists in Uyo, Dahir Umar, who was represented by the company's secretary and legal advisor Mohammed Sani Mohammed, also revealed that the number of contributors has hit 7.9 million as at the same time. The figure grew by 390,000 from 7.5 million as at March 31, 2017 to 7.89 million by December 31, 2017. According to her, the Commission was intensifying efforts at ensuring the provision of necessary infrastructure for the launch of the micro-pension scheme in line with its strategic objective of expanding coverage of the contributory pension scheme to capture the underserved sectors. He also revealed that PENCOM initiated the PENCOM Enhancement Program to further boost the monthly pension of retirees in the CPS. After 2 years of sustained and rigorous negotiation, the Central Bank of Nigeria has finally entered into a currency swap agreement with the People's Bank of China. A statement signed by CBN's Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Mr. Isaac Okorafo, said the deal, signed last Friday by Governor of the CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and PBOC Governor in Beijing, China, ended over 2 years of painstaking negotiation by the Apex Bank. The statement says the transaction, which is valued at RMB 16 billion, or the equivalent of about $2.5 billion, is aimed at providing adequate local currency liquidity in Nigerian and Chinese industrialists and other businesses, thereby reducing the difficulties encountered in the search for third currencies. Among other benefits of the deal, CBN said are to provide Naira liquidity to Chinese businesses and provide RMB liquidity to Nigerian businesses respectively, thereby improving the speed, convenience and volume of transactions between the two countries. The World Bank has commended reforms initiated by the State and Local Governance Reforms Project in public financial management. He said the reforms have started yielding positive results in the participating state of the project. The bank's project tax team leader, Mr. Ikechukwu Nweje, made the disclosure at a 3-day slugger retreat with the theme assessing the implementation of the PFM reforms at the sub-national levels of government focus on the slugger states. Mr. Nweje said there has been a significant progress in some critical areas of public financial reforms like adoption of the new national chart of accounts by all the 6 participating states of the project, strengthening of tax authorities, increased IGR of states, increased taxpayers' base, improved budget laws, strengthening external audit and financial reporting. He also noted that despite the achievements recorded so far in PFM and in slugger states, issues of obsolete financial law still remain a problem for a robust, dynamic, and progressive 21st century financial statement meant for better revenue collection and management in Nigeria.
And that has been the Business News Summary on Independent Television Abuja. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Kiri Obuli.